That is their PR, 3:41, Long Beach Poly.
Coming down to the wire here in our California State Track and Field Championships, the team standings with the final girls event of the night on deck for us. Long Beach Poly will have a team in the 4x4, and they lead Dwight Stones in our girls standings.
Wow, I mean, it's just a runaway. We know the team is great, and this was expected, and they'd have to blow up in a big way in order for that to happen. Dos Pueblos, understand that 20 of those points are by one athlete in the shot put and the discus. So Long Beach Poly, a dominating performance once again. Stamacia Scarvalas basically scored 75% of the points for Dos Pueblos, as Poly gets ready now for the crowning event where they have about a 3-second lead on everybody else in the field. They've got the number 3 time in the country and the leading time in the state of California.
They will be in lane 5, Long Beach Poly, and Kaylin Roberts, who won the 400 earlier today, she'll be running the leadoff leg for Long Beach Poly.
Piedmont, just outside of them, does have the number 8 time in the U.S., number 3 time in the state. But as I mentioned, it's more than 3.5 seconds slower than Long Beach Poly. So in essence, Poly really could drop the baton, pick it back up, and still win the race, as long as the baton didn't fall too far from the person who dropped it.
They had a 3:41 flat yesterday in qualifying, a wonderful time. There's Piedmont Hills, the defending champions in their team. Brianna Collier has had a wonderful meet here in the state championships on the girls' side, and she'll be running the leadoff leg for Piedmont Hills.
She was our 300-meter hurdles champion as a freshman. I wouldn't be surprised if Poly has a little something up their sleeve, maybe try to go under 340 here in this particular event. They ran a couple of alternates in the qualifying yesterday, who were clearly not their blue chip number 1A team. So they might have something a little bit special to really bring a flourish to this.
And a couple of freshmen, Kaylin Roberts, who won the 400, and Autumn Wright, who has done very well in her freshman season. Holly Harris, Ebony Creer, a wonderful Long Beach Poly team with 3:41 yesterday. They owned the meet record too back in 2004, 10 years ago, at 3:35. Already taking the 4x100. Now the 4x4 to wrap up the day.
And as you mentioned, Jack, the 400-meter runner, the freshman Kaylin Roberts, running the leadoff for Poly. Expect to give them a big lead at the exchange, a lead that they will never relinquish, and plenty of running room for their 3 teammates that run after her.
Return stagger in the 4x4 is the top 2. Long Beach Poly, Piedmont Hills out in front.
Freshman versus freshman, champion versus champion. From Poly, Kaylin Roberts, the 400-meter champion, and giving her everything that she can give her. Brianna Collier, the freshman who won the 300-meter hurdles. That's upsetting the form chart a little bit.
They will go virtually in a dead heat.
A much better exchange for Poly, though.
Coming off that first turn, they were tied after lap 1, but Long Beach Poly has opened up a lead as they cascade off the stagger.
Freshman Autumn Wright for Long Beach Poly, and for Piedmont, Bianca Bryant, the junior. They were even as they were about to exchange the baton, but in the first 100 meters, that 10-meter gap materialized.
Immediate lead heading into the second lap for Poly. Very good second leg, though, for Bianca Bryant. She's charging here at the end.
They're not laying down for anybody. I will tell you, the Poly freshman is struggling. She's turning in a less than stellar leg. She really ran hard the first 150 meters to get some distance between herself and the Piedmont runner. So now for Poly, Holly Harris, the senior, and for Piedmont, Tammy Nguyen. And Piedmont just won't go away. This was supposed to be a coronation for Long Beach Poly. Win this, score 70 points, pretty much double the score on anybody else in second place. And Piedmont Hills is making a bit of a race of it.
Wynn chasing Harris down the stretch to finish up the third leg. Piedmont has consistently closed at the end of each one, and they do it again into the final exchange. Even for the final lap.
Ebony Queer for Long Beach Poly, the senior, has the anchor duties, and for Piedmont is Tamaria Brainerd, the junior. And it's the same pattern. Poly makes a nice little 10-meter gap, and then right down the finishing straight, Piedmont Hills closes. If nothing less, Piedmont Hills is going to be pulled to a great time.
Piedmont Hills, the defending champions in this event, 341.14 last year to win it. Poly qualified in 341 flat, and they've opened up a lead. Ebony Creer well out in front, but the final straightaway is where Piedmont Hills has done the damage.
This is too big a gap to make up on a team that's this good. So they made it interesting for 3 legs, but Long Beach Poly is going to score 70 points on the girls' side of the state meet. They're going to break 340. 3:38.07, that could be corrected, but that's a spectacular time. 3:38.05.
So they take it down to 3:38.05, less than 3 seconds off the national record.
And that was with a couple of legs that were not as strong as they could have been. I give these girls credit. They've run a lot of events today, especially the freshman, Kaylin Roberts, who won the title in the 400 meters. That's a spectacular run for Long Beach Poly. A top time in the country.
It wraps up a 14th team championship here in California as well, well beyond the record. Piedmont Hills made it interesting for 3 laps.
Well, you know what? Hills had the pride of trying to defend their title. And the pattern was that Piedmont Hills would close. And it's not that Long Beach Poly wasn't running a good race. Piedmont Hills was just running a really spectacular race for the first 3 legs. They still ran a season best by nearly a second, but it came down to the final leg, and Poly opens up a big lead. Right there, it was pretty much over. There was no response. This is in the backstretch, that 10-meter lead, but there was really no response with 200 meters to go, like we had seen previously. But when you're running 3:38.05, you don't expect many teams to be in it with you. And I'm sure that was a stinger for Poly last year when they lost it to Piedmont Hills, and they made sure it didn't happen 2 years in a row. Congratulations on it. Just a fantastic state meet for the Long Beach Poly Lady Jackrabbits, and they are spent.
Aptly named Long Beach Poly, the Jackrabbits, for this sport that they have dominated. The most successful team in California girls track and field history. 14 team championships, and this one's a runaway.
Yeah, more than double the score on second place.
And to do so with a 3:38.05 time, to go 2 seconds or 3 seconds better than a wonderful qualifying time. 3 seconds better in the finals.
And I knew they had a couple alternates in that race, but I have to tell you, the second leg run by the freshman, Amanda Wright, for Long Beach Poly, she had a tough time, struggled the last 50 meters. I mean, this was maybe a 3:37 low time if everybody had really run well. Fresh. Of course, you're not going to be fresh when you have this much talent running in multiple events.
So Long Beach Poly takes home the girls 4x4 relay championship and the team title as well. As we get set for the boys 4x4, our final event of the night. And Dwight Stones, this one features a little bit of a different setup as we get ready for the 1600-meter relay.
Sarah with the record 3:08.42. We don't expect a time like that to be headed, but yes, we do have a little bit of a twist, a wrinkle in the final event of the state championships. And everything is being explained to this Dorsey team, which did not run yesterday. They did not run in the preliminaries, and here's why. They had replaced one of their alternate runners, and that name did not appear on the clerk of the course readout. So when they checked in, they said, I'm sorry, you are entering a team that is not in our computer. You are disqualified. They were not allowed to run. The coach said, excuse me, we sent in our amended list before last Saturday's cutoff. The officials were able to search for that altered list, found it, acknowledged the mistake, but it was too late for Dorsey to run in a preliminary heat. So the protest was upheld. They are being put in this race, and two unusual things are happening. You might notice that there are 9 lanes on the track. In the 4x400 relay, all the teams run in lanes for the first 3 turns. 10 teams, 9 lanes. So we will show you in a moment how they are efforting to get around this little problem. But here's the complaint from the rest of the teams in the final. These guys